dum, dum, dum. What was that? Oh, crap. Action front. What's happening, my friends? I'm John Lovell of Warrior Poet Society, and today we're talking about truck guns or vehicle guns. I have 4 different options right here, and 3 of these have actually been my truck gun in the past, and now I've whittled it down to the my favorite truck gun setup. And it might surprise you. Before I introduce our beauty pageant contestants, for you to guess which one mine is, and also which one of these would you like as your truck gun, I'll talk about capabilities, pros and cons, and all that jazz. But first, we got to play our snazzy little title package, right? We do that? All right, let's look at our ladies, guys. First option right here, I've got a BCM upper right here, and what I was stressing here in this gun is I wanted accuracy. I think back of the Vegas shooting where it was big distances, and it ended up being something with high winds and stuff like even identifying the shooter. I don't think I could have done any good in that situation. However, it did lay the foundation for saying, I want to be able to reach out and touch someone at distance. And my eyes, they're not great at distance. So being able to cam in and be able to identify of like, who is that guy? Of like, what are they holding? So I think the importance of having a gun that can really gain accuracy and to be able to gather information afar, this makes sense as a truck gun. All right, guys, second contestant, it's just a cheapo little Palmetto State. I bought this on a sale for very, very little. It's got a 12-inch barrel. I still think I'll probably be able to reach out and touch something at 200 meters just fine with this. And so nothing very fancy, but the idea is if you get robbed, this isn't a huge hardship. Whereas this optic right here is worth more than this entire setup, just the optic on this gun. And so for theft or something like that, if you're worried about that, this would be a good option. Third option, oh, she's so cool. This is a little Daniel Defense PDW, and it's got a Huxworks can on it, and it's chambered in 300 blackout. And I've got nicer stuff, the Hollison Ames, the Surefire light, the can. This is a much more expensive setup. This is my most expensive setup. Now with the 300 blackout, the reason why I really like this is one, I've got a can, and now I can choose between 2 different capabilities. One, I've got supersonic rounds into one of these mags and then subsonic in the other. So if I want to be very, very quiet, not like movie quiet, but very quiet, meaning I don't even need ear pro and I risk no real damage to my hearing. Subs are a really good idea. However, if I want real punch terminal ballistic capability, I'll switch to supers, and I can also get a little bit more distance. Not a lot of distance out of this barrel, but still the PDW, this is a pretty good option. But man, it starts getting pricey, and you want to leave this in a truck? Oh, hello there. This video is sponsored by Hillsdale College. Did you know that Hillsdale College gives you over 40 free online courses? You can learn about the fall of the Roman Republic. You can learn all about church history. You can take their new Marxism, Communism, and Socialism class. Did you know, for example, that you can't have any of this stuff in communist countries? You can't have a truck either. You can't have you either. Marxism owns you. Now, though I'm making light of it, they got some incredible academics there that are able to really unravel some of these ideologies and teach us how to combat against them. Guys, guns are awesome, but also get your learn on. Go to hillsdale.edu/WPS. That's hillsdale.edu/WPS, and you're going to get access to those 40 free online courses. hillsdale.edu/WPS to enroll. All right, the next option, and this is a newer hotness, and man, this is a cool little thing right here. When I first got this, I thought this would be cool for a bag gun, but check it out. You push this little lever here, and it ninjas out, and I'm ready to shoot. And just like with all of them, I want white light on any type of truck gun because 80% of all violent encounters happen during hours of limited visibility. So white light, white light, white light, and here I got a white light on here as well. The problem with this is it's just a simple 9mm. That's it. Now I've got more capacity with this than the others, as I've got a 17 round mag. I guess this is like a 19 round mag. So I'm gonna have more capacity than any of these 30 round mags. But 9mm, you're going to need more ammo for a 9mm. 7 out of every 8 people shot with a pistol live through it. But this is by far the shortest of all the guns, and so it's far easier to conceal places. It's not going to take up a lot of room. I don't have to stow this somewhere in the back of a truck where I have to bail out and get out. This is something I could have in a console or shoved under a seat because it's so small. Let's look at it compared to the other ones right there. Look at that. Tiny, tiny. Look at that. That's it. That's it compared to the PDW. Now with the PDW, I could take off this cannon and shorten it up a good bit. Let's go ahead and do that just for funsies. And now let's look at the length comparisons. I mean, this is a tiny little package. Look at that. This is a tiny little guy. And so being able to stow this away is really good. Also, I care about not having stuff on the side. I want to be able to shove it behind seats or under seats or something like that. And I like it to lay flat. And so what I found with truck guns or vehicle guns is having a flashlight or something that hangs off the side. That really impedes your ability. And when you're ripping it out of someplace, it can hook on things. And so I really want something more flat. That's a benefit of this little Palmetto State. I found this kind of cheapo, or at least less expensive, Enforce light, which I'm not crazy about, but it allows me to accomplish not having something on the sides. I tried to mount it under and this gas block was in the way. But anyway, to have illumination on everything. This Surefire light has this flex piece that mounts to the M-LOK, so I'm able to really get this much closer in and tighter. So that is a lot better. But now continuing with the Flux, this white light, the Surefire X300 underneath, that's pretty good. But man, the capabilities of a 9mm is far less in terms of reach out and touch someone at distance and also putting threats down with terminal ballistics. It's a cool setup, but if I'm shooting this, I'm kind of like, well, I could just go my everyday carry gun. Why not just do this? Of like, I can't conceal this. This I've already got on me, but this is not a huge step up compared to this. Now, I do think that I'm going to be able to shoot faster and more accurately than this, but I don't think it's going to be such a big jump that I want to invest in all this. Is it a solution seeking a problem? Now, just for fun, I want to go ahead and measure splits on the shot timer, shooting both of these at 25 meters. This is a subcompact War Poet gun, CR920P. This is what I carry every day. And so I just want to see in terms of splits and hits capability, what the difference is how big of a buy up is something like this? All right, we're at 25 meters. Ninja! I'm gonna put these on the timer and all we're looking at is splits. So here we go, it's gonna beep. We're good to go, here we go. I had a miss in there. We're in pretty well. All right, let's see. We got 0.46, 49, 85, I was off target, 42, 45, 48, 49. So that's pretty, I got into some consistency, but 4/8 is about what we're looking at here. All right, let's go. Let's see what everyday carry is. All right, so here's the beep and we're just looking at splits. That was all hits. And I'm looking at 0.5, 0.52, 4.3, 4.1, 4.2, 4.4. So I was actually a little faster with this. I bet though it's because I'm shooting this regularly. Let me try this one more time. It moves off target a little bit more than my normal pistol. So that was 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.6, 4.1, 4.9, but I had 2 misses on that. All right. So at 25 meters, this really didn't give me much of an improvement in accuracy and speed. Now, maybe it would for you, but for me, I got on just fine. Now, I have backed up to 50, and this did have greater capability at 50 for me for accuracy and speed. So distance is going to matter. All right, guys, now I want you to weigh in. One is, which of these options would you choose for your truck gun? And the second thing, I want you to guess which one of these is my current truck gun setup. Now let's return to our opening scenario and see which one of these guns is my current truck gun. Tango down. Skin battle. Call police. Yo, I just did something awesome. I murked a bad guy. It was good shooting. I used my favorite truck gun for this situation. Lovell out. Yep, so here is my current truck gun setup, and many of you probably gasped in disappointment. You're like, really, John? You got cool stuff like this? Because objectively speaking, this is wildly cooler than this. However, because it's wildly cooler, I got NFA items now just chilling in my vehicle, and this is an expensive setup. I can't just leave this in my vehicle. Now, all that being said, it begs an entirely different question of what happens if you're able to very well secure these firearms in your truck. You're able to lock it up. I'm like, great. I just don't want a whole lot of time that would be spent in flipping up a seat, punching in a combo, picking it up and grabbing it out of man, it matters. So if you've got a really good way to lock up your guns, I'm gonna go this one. This one's just too cool. This one's too awesome. But until I have that, cheaper is the name of the game for me. Now I just can't keep my hands off this pretty girl. I wanted to add one more thing. If you have a far more nondescript vehicle, not a truck, but maybe like a little car. If you drive a Prius, you could put this in the back and nobody is going to be thinking that that vehicle is going to have something cool like that. They're not breaking in looking for guns. They're breaking into it looking for your fidget spinner or your vape or your Little River Band CDs. In a nondescript vehicle, put it in the trunk, put a trash bag over it, or put it in a tennis racket case or something so that you can just kind of hide it. And in that scenario, this works really well. I don't have a Prius, but I have a nondescript car, and this may or may not go in it. Final consideration, should you leave a long gun in a truck at all? This is a moral problem that I'm sorting out. On the one hand, I don't want to arm bad guys. Now, I'm not parking my truck in shady areas. I've never had a gun stolen out of a vehicle before. I think having some way to secure it, some real cool lock system, which I just don't have yet, that could mitigate it as long as it didn't take a whole lot of time to access and it had room in there as well. The second piece of this is what happens if something went down on my watch. I needed to shoot somebody at longer distances, or I needed a long gun, and because of that capability, I was able to rescue people. And so there I've got a bit of a moral quandary of one, I don't want to arm bad guys if my vehicle gets broken into, but two, I want the long gun in case I have need of that weapon system to rescue people. And so that's kind of the moral difficulty that I'm weighing in. I'd love for you guys to discuss it down below in the comments. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel, toggle notifications bell to all, like, comment, share, all that jazz. Appreciate it. Train hard, train smart, and we'll see you next time.